not put on the shoes. And Mr. Speaker, thereafter, after finishing school, my father thought then I should have he required to spend some of his little earnings to educate my brothers and sisters. I became difficult after attending to my father's tea farm and coffee for some time, and then decided to rebel and go to look for something else to do, and that's how I left that home with only 30 shillings, without any clothes in a bag, without knowing where I would sleep. And my hustling life started from there. I made friends with and during the course of life, I got interested in doing a business here and there, and that's when I started business. I first of all got very interested in pursuing insurance, and I was the founder member of Access Insurance. Mr. Speaker, also as I was doing business, I met very many people who inspired me in different ways, and some of the people I met and actually who inspired me to think about the politics and public service were the likes of the late Kennedy Matiba, Kinamuite, Raila Odinga, and even the late Akina Jaramogi. The late Kabando Wafula Mbuke and I were the first young boys, and Antai Wankuraru, who were there, and the boys of the Safina party, and the late the late Liki was the Secretary General. The first time I got charged in court, Mr. Speaker, was around that time, the year 2002, when I was alleged to have, and Mporo Abodi, who is also my friend, we were very close, and we were charged with the offense. That time, I think the charge was defective, of trying, because we had lent prayers, and it was construed that we were praying for the death of the president then. So we were charged for incitement. The matters went to court. We were lucky that we couldn't afford a legal fees to pay lawyers, and I thank Muturi Kegano and Muite, because these are the people that came to our rescue. We were acquitted. That is when I realized how important it was to have good friends. From there, Mr. Speaker, when we got interested.
Finish up in 2 minutes. You've already done your 10.
I got interested in running for parliamentary position, and I first of all ran under Safina ticket. I lost. The next election, I ran on Found People. The year 2007, I ran on a Kano ticket, and I was elected as for Igembe South, and from that time, I have been a member of Parliament. Last election, Governor, for Meru and lost to the current governor. And Mr. Speaker, thereafter, in the wisdom of the current president, who I thank, decided to nominate me as candidate, as nominee for the position before this honorable committee. Ready to answer.
Thank you. We advise that we'll take them in batches of 4 to seek clarifications where you're not. And even those who have asked.
A docket that is the people of Western Gishu County are immensely interested. As you know, agriculture is the largest sector. First pillar of the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. I'm sure you also know that agriculture has the highest employment multiplier effect. And this is a question that was asked of me, 5-year-old son, who is a farmer. He said the highest unemployed people are the young people. So the question is, what, so that you can capture this young
Mr. Mandi Shomo, MP Kikuyu. As you are aware that agriculture is a multiply effect and becomes profitable for millions of Kenyans who have not to dismantle agriculture not profitable to the majority of farmers, and especially in the dairy sector. I would dismantle those monopolistic cartels to make sure that our dairy farmers are living out of their agricultural endeavors. To Honorable Linturi, you have said you were arrested by a chief at a very young age to be taken to school. Up to very recently, we've seen you being arrested. Maybe Mr. Linturi, we have worked to DA and may be privy to information that contributed to his arrest. I don't know whether Honorable Linturi proper, because there is already the affidavit that has been filed by Transparency International. The circumstances prior to your arrest there, maybe it would be only proper that you on the circumstances of the victim. You have attached a degree.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Chair. We are also listening very keenly to the majority leader's questions, but he's not coming out clearly. We would also like to get the benefit of what exactly he's asking. So when you're talking about a situation, maybe you can give us which situation, because the nominee has been arrested severally, not once or twice.
So, which arrest are an arrest by the chief? The chief abducted him and took him to school. I think it's just a question of using the wrong language. He was captured by the chief while looking after cattle and taken to school. Isn't that so? That's what you meant?
Yes.
Yes. But the rest are arrests by different agencies.
I think definitely, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Buyu should be aware, of course, that the first one, I think, it is his description of arrest, and he has explained the second one. And the Honorable Speaker also did indicate that the Honorable Linturi has had some run-ins with DCI Kinoti. And that is the incident that I'm referring to, because he did share with me, or a group of us, at the time we were being tormented by the former regime. In fact, Honorable Speaker, is that just that we were sharing information that had come to our attention, that a number of us were targeted for arrests and kidnappings and those sort of things. And the Honorable Linturi happened to share with us an incident that had happened to him, and that was long before his arrest, and that's why I'm asking, because it's information that he knows, and that's what I was asking. Maybe it would help in the issue that has been petitioned on by Transparency International. Lastly, Honorable Linturi, you have attached a degree from the University of Nairobi for a Bachelor of Laws that you graduated in December, 21st day of December in the year 2018. And I also know that at the time, I think you indicated you wanted to run for governor. The same DCI Kinoti had attempted to either investigate or charge you on some degree certificate that he said was fake. Could it be this degree certificate that you have put here in the in the file? Maybe you can also clarify whether this is a degree that was under investigations by DCI Kinoti. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Linturi and I served in the 11th Parliament in the National Assembly, so we know each other. Mr. Honorable Linturi, you know, as public officers, indeed as state officers, your life becomes a matter of public interest. And I will pick it up from where the Honorable Ichungwa has left. Because I've looked at your CV, which is in the file, and it shows that you clearly have only one degree, which is Bachelor of Laws, second class honors, upper division, attained in 2018 from the University of Nairobi. And yet again, it is in public domain. As a public officer, you know, you're under scrutiny. That at some point you had an issue with the University of Nairobi concerning some degree. Indeed, the university went ahead to, I think, deregister you or strike your name out of the roll of graduates on account of some forgeries or alleged forgeries. In fact, the matter was taken up at the EACC. I don't know what became of the investigations. So, just to be clear, that this can be rested once and for all. Do you have only one degree from the University of Nairobi, which is a Bachelor of Law? Did you present some other degree to the University of Nairobi for admission to this course? Did you ever get a Bachelor of Commerce degree from an Indian university? These were subjects of speculation at the time of the investigations. Two is that on the 28th of April 2021, you were arrested by the DCI. 28th April 2021, or thereabout. You were arrested by the DCI for allegedly using forged signatures to secure some Kenya shillings 530 million loan. What became of this matter? Because I never heard of it again thereafter. Then, when the then, or the current, if it maybe it's true, CS for Interior, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, when he appeared before a Senate committee, if I may recall, he made some very disturbing allegations against you, which again is in public domain. That as director of Articon Limited, alongside one Emily Wantai, you forged company documents to facilitate the borrowing of another personal loan of Kenya shillings 100 million without the consent of another shareholder or co-shareholder going by the name Kipchumba Ngetich, who was subsequently again fired from the company for refusing to play ball. Those are the words of Dr. Matiang'i. I'm just paraphrasing him. You may want to shed some light on this, even as you seek to be approved to occupy this very high office. Finally, and the Honorable Bichungu has touched on it, the affidavit by one Sheila Masindi, who is the Executive Director of Transparency International, drawn on the 14th of October 2022. It is also again raising very disturbing issues. One, she of course alleges that you were arrested and charged with the offense of attempted rape on the 30th of January 2021. She goes ahead to say that the matter was eventually dropped. Okay? But the charge raised, those are her words, the charge raised serious issues on your integrity. Kindly comment, make a comment on the same. Thanks.
I think those are sufficiently weighty, quite a mouthful. I would allow you to answer those three before we take some more. Starting with the Deputy Speaker, but you can choose to start from the tail end or the top.
Let me, Mr. Speaker, start from the bottom up. So I'll start by answering Mheshimiwa Wandai. And Mr. Speaker, when in my opening remarks, there is an issue that I raised on some duties, and I will do my best to answer so that I do not touch on the issues that are before court for determination. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether this document is with you, and I want to answer the issue, the matter on the affidavit of Meru on the withdrawal of the issue of the attempted rape that he's talking about, and that is indeed the issue that Mheshimiwa Ichung'wa was trying or sharing, because even before this happened, and shared with my very close friends. Mr. Speaker, I'm an open book. In fact, those that write and say I've litany of cases is an understatement. As I sit here, I have 35 cases in court as I am sitting here. 35. And these 35...
Of a civil nature or criminal nature?
They are civil, Mr. Speaker. I have no criminal case in any court in this country. And I'm saying the only criminal case that I had in court is a case between the Republic and I, where the complainant was buried. And I think, since everybody knows the kind of bad relationship that I had with the NDCI, and my political persuasion that, or the political position I've taken in the last general election, or since the handshake, Mr. Speaker, I was the complainant. I was the complainant in this case because this was a case of abduction, Mr. Speaker, and it's a case where people wanted to extort money from me, and I will share the affidavit by Meru herself, where she's saying that she has reconciled her conscience and she has reflected on the facts and the circumstances relating to this complaint, and she has decided on her own volition to withdraw. Mr. Speaker, the NDCI himself decided that Mithika must be turned into a victim. It is just last week when the NDCI officers came to my office and even brought me the cash bill and the money that they had recovered from the abductors, because immediately I was abducted and I was released after giving 200,000 shillings and they were asking for 1 million shillings. I reported the matter at Nanyuki NDCI offices. The record is there, Mr. Speaker. And I remember I was with you. I don't know whether I shared, Mr. Speaker, when we were there in Diani, Mr. Speaker, when we went to the Senate committee in Diani in last year, but one, where I was asking whether I would get permission to go to Nanyuki to record a statement to this effect, so that these abductors would have been taken to court.
I missed the Diani meeting.
2 years ago, Mr. Speaker, the Committee on National Security, we had a meeting in Diani. That is the time.
I was a member of the committee with you, but
Yes.
I was not in Diani.
Yeah?
I was a member of the committee with you, I agree, but I was not in Diani.
Yeah, that's where we were. I'm saying the time we were in Diani as a committee. Yes, I was sharing it with the committee, our chairman.
Yes.
So this is the time when I was required in Nanyuki to do a statement for them to appear before court. Because I was traumatized, immediately they were arrested. And since I didn't make, it is the DCI himself who ordered the file be transferred from Nanyuki to Nairobi, instructed the DCI then Mr. Murete. And when this matter came here, people were, other officers were picked, were asked to do different statements. My statements were torn, and they fixed me, framed me as a victim, and that's how I ended up in court. This affidavit from Meru and Oduor, when she decided to withdraw, has given a condition, and because he was cross-examined by the magistrate, and I've put the ruling from the magistrate here, Mr. Speaker, and which I will be willing to share, that the condition was that the person, I was required to withdraw the extortion complaint I had launched against her and the friends at the Nanyuki. That is what happened, Mr. Speaker. I was framed. The idea was to embarrass me.
You're making reference to the affidavit. Just who is the deponent of that affidavit?
He is a complainant, Meru and Oduor.
Beryl
Meru Oduor.
Oduor.
Yes.
Beryl Oduor.
Yes, it's called
Okay.
Meru Akoth Owondo, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, can we get copies of
Can
that
you share it
document?
with
Yes.
the...
And even as I don't know, as he continues,
Next.
Yes.
yeah, as he continues, maybe to just clarify clearly where the charges have been dropped within the meaning of Article 156. Or they are simply an
Mr. Speaker, the true was done by the complainant herself. And as you know, you are aware that the DPP must agree to the withdrawal, attached an affidavit to the DPP, and the DPP went to court to seek concurrence from the court on whether the matter should be withdrawn or not. That happened. Meru testified before a magistrate. And nothing else other than to accede to a request to withdraw the matter. The ruling from the magistrate is attached to the affidavit of Meru and Roro. I did not initiate. The only thing that was of a requirement from them was that I was required to withdraw the extortion complaint that I found with the DCI in Nanyuki. That's how the matter was withdrawn. It was not the DPP who decided to do it, but it was moved by the complainant to withdraw the matter.
And did you withdraw also your complaint then?
To date,
On extortion?
to date, Mr. Chairman, I have not. I have not withdrawn, but I can also tell this committee, I have fought so many cases and I don't think I have the energy. I want to frame my mind, given the opportunity, to work for this country. I must also let it go. I must forget the pain, the persecution that I've gone through, and I have left to the conscience of all my persecutors and gone to deal with them. Because there are many, as I will continue trying to explain, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, your
Just wanted to ask what you just asked, whether he has withdrawn, but maybe in relation to that, have you been whether these particular people who are involved were DCI officers? Because, Mr. Honorable Speaker, because I had the same sort of incident with Honorable Linturi when criminals poisoned people to do with this case. Turned around the case, recalled the file from Kikuyu when we adduced evidence to the Kikuyu DCI office involved in poisoning of people in Kikuyu. And I'm asking that because would you be aware whether the DCI officers?
Mr. Probably I may want to pursue that once overhaul of the I may want to imagine that they must have been, because calling for a file for an offense that took place in Nanyuki, bringing it to Nairobi, assigning it to other officers, and then turning me to a victim when I was the complainant, then it cannot...
Turning into the villain, the
Yes.
accused, not the victim.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what happened, Mr. Speaker. And if I may proceed, because another
Mr.
matter-
Speaker, even as it continues again,
Yes.
maybe because now so many issues have been raised and the names have been dropped, is it possible for Honorable Linturi to just explain to us how the abduction took place? Very, very briefly.
And going forward, Honorable Linturi, I did advise you, only answer questions as they are asked. You'll be very safe that way.
Mr. Speaker, I think This happened a long time ago. And some things are not very good to remember because they